Welcome, families. We hope that you are staying safe during this time. We understand that this is a difficult time for everyone. We want to offer this content face to face when things return to normal, but for now, that we hope that this short presentation on executive functioning will help you support your child during distance learning, and the skills your child learns will be applied when he or she returns to school. Before we dive into the content, I want you to think about your child and some of the difficulties they experience in home and at school. We hope that this content will address some of the difficulties that you have noted about your child. So, what are executive functioning deficits and what do they look like? Is your child impulsive? Does he begin tasks or projects without reading directions? Does your child answer immediately without processing the question? Does your child act without thinking? Does your child have difficulty staying organized? Is it difficult for him to find assignments or papers misplaced? Does he come to a task unprepared? Does your child have a difficult time initiating a task, getting started on their work? Is your child forgetful? Does he have difficulty remembering when assignments are due? Difficulty with multi-step directions? Each of these fall into one of three broad categories of executive functioning. We have inhibitory control, working memory, and cognitive flexibility. Inhibitory control deficits display as being impulsive, staying organized, reading difficulties, including applying decoding reading strategies, time management, which can lead to incomplete assignments and unfinished projects, excitability. Does your child go from 0 to 100 emotionally? Beginning a task or project. All of these lead to unfinished work and missing assignments. To support a child displaying an inhibitory control deficit, create a workspace to help with organization. Provide color-coded file folders or crates labeled by subject, work complete, work in progress, or due dates. Provide a visual schedule broken down with chunks of each subject and weekly schedule for longer tasks to create routines. Use verbal and visuals to prompt your child to use reading strategies, such as look at the illustrations, reread, does that sound right? Break tasks down into doable chunks to create an environment of success. Use a timer as an incentive to help with getting started and time management. Pair these time periods with reinforcers. And use noise-reducing headphones to reduce distractibility if necessary. Other ways to support your child. When these restrictions are lifted, get your child involved in organized sport where they have to play by team rules. Currently, you can add exercise to your child's daily schedule. Play strategic games such as Monopoly, chess, or checkers. For the younger ones, play Simon Says to help them with impulsiveness. What does a deficit in working memory look like? Information can only stay in our working memory for 18 seconds. Creating memory issues if too many concepts or steps are introduced at one time. Does your child have difficulty recalling or remembering information? A child with a working memory deficit may also have difficulty with mental math. Multi-step directions are also going to be difficult. A child may remember the first and last step, but not the steps in between. And difficulty with reading comprehension, being able to recall details in reading and differentiating between the essential and non essential information. To support your child with a working memory deficit, highlight the essential information for your child until they learn that skill. Provide definitions with visuals to aid in comprehension. This can be done on a flashcard, vocabulary word on one side, and a visual on the definition on the back side. Provide a calculator whenever possible to allow your child to continue to problem solve so they don't get frustrated over simple computation. And write those step by step instructions or provide a model so your child can focus on the task. Other ways to support your child. Provide them with puzzles and games like concentration and spot the difference. Play card games and games such as Uno, blockers that require your child to remember colors, shapes, and numbers. And sing songs that have repetition and recite poems. Our last area is cognitive flexibility. A child with a deficit in this area will have a difficult time with transitions, moving from one activity to another, especially a non preferred activity. They may have a difficult time accepting feedback, difficulty with studying, knowing what to study and how to study, difficulty with comparing and contrasting, and difficulty with accepting the points of view of other people. Before we get started looking at supports, I'm going to have you test your cognitive flexibility. You'll see a color word being written. I want you to say the color and not the word, as we are trained to read. So this is red, black, So, how did you do? What strategy did you use? As adults, we have learned many strategies through the years, and our kids need to be taught specific strategies to help them overcome their deficits too. To support a child with cognitive flexibility deficit, provide a reinforcer if they listen to feedback and apply it, or for listening to others' points of view. Provide a verbal warning or a visual timer before you transition a child to a new activity. Use graphic organizers to help your child organize their ideas. To compare and contrast, use T-charts, Venn diagrams, or word webs. Connect to real world whenever possible. For example, relate place value to time, fractions, and decimals, and measurement for construction, reading to accessing the news, and equations to buying floor covering. Use flashcards and practice questions when studying. Play games and create new rules each time you play. And front load new information by providing visuals, multiple text, and real world examples. There are other things that impact executive functions, such as screen time. Screen time can have positive and negative impacts on executive functioning. The positives are access to academic content, which is very important during distance learning. Your child also has the ability to interact and participate in interactive games, videos, and activities that help keep their attention and focus. Some of these activities encourage turn-taking skills, either with a device or a partner that are also interacting with the same activity. A child will often see text that is embedded within a screen activity while it is being read to them in different modalities. This helps convert written text to voice output and will support literary skills and model fluent reading in fun ways. There are also some negative impacts on language and social behavior. A study in children ranging from 2 to 3 years old found that for every 1 hour of television watched during the day while at home, the child was exposed to nearly 1,000 fewer words throughout that time, which has a significant impact on a child's overall language development. It can also have an impact on the ability to interact and relate to other children and their ability to help others and taking directions and following rules. Screen time can also affect a teen's ability to read nonverbal and social cues. We have a couple of resources listed that will give you more information regarding screen time. The first one is a family media guideline or plan. And the second website offers guidance for media, videos, and apps per developmental level. We have also listed apps per executive functioning area. Apps that are good for inhibitory control are Notability. Notability helps the organization, allows for annotation and note taking. The Time Timer app is a visual countdown timer to help with time management. My Homework Planner helps support organization by strategically planning out assignments and due dates, helps set routines. Apps that are good for working memory. Inspiration Map. Your child can build graphic organizers, record audio, and transfer documents to an outline form. The GoodNote app is a good way for taking notes, annotating, and it converts handwriting to text. Study Blue allows your child to make flashcards, study guides, quizzes, and add visuals. Lumosity provides puzzles and games to exercise the working memory. Apps that are good for cognitive flexibility include Brain Turk. This is a game that helps with task switching and attention span. All You Can Eat Tea is a game with frequently changing rules. What Would You Do at School is a card game with scenarios that help children use problem-solving skills. And last but not least is the Zone of Regulations that helps with behavior regulation through color-coded charts. We hope that this was helpful and that you will join us when we can hold a face-to-face class. In the meantime, please stay safe and stay healthy.